My mother pitied Susanyu, who was the orphan daughter of a meritorious official. She regarded her as a foster daughter. I also regarded her as my own sister and showed her a lot of care, but after my mother passed away, on the day of my marriage, she framed me for bullying her for 10 years, and my father and elder brother actually believed her one-sided words. I was divorced on the spot and my reputation was completely ruined. That night, they forced me to commit suicide. In desperation, I took a sharp knife and stabbed Susanyu, dying together with her. When I woke up again, Susanyu was pouring tea on herself. Sister, who do you think father and elder brother will believe? I kicked her into the pond. I don't care who they believe. In the last memory of my previous life, father and elder brother had expressionless faces and ordered someone to force poison into my mouth. Tears blurred my vision. In desperation, I saw Susanyu hiding behind my elder brother and showing a complacent expression. I burst out with unprecedented strength, broke free from the servant's shackles, and then picked up scissors and stabbed her chest. Die together. Open my eyes again. The strange but familiar scene made me a little stunned, until I saw Susanyu standing by the pond, a lot younger. She was wearing the most popular clothing in the capital city. She was squatting by the pond by herself and reaching out to splash water on herself, while getting her hair wet. She asked me with a smile, "Sister, do you think father and elder brother will believe whom?" I suddenly came back to my senses. On this day in a previous life, Susanyu invited me to the pond beside the mansion and dismissed the servants. She wanted to tell me a secret. It was on this day that I was determined by father and elder brother. I relied on the identity of the daughter of the elder princess and bullied the descendants of meritorious officials. Confusion, pain, and despair welled up in my heart. I rushed over, grabbed her hair bun, and pressed her whole head into the pool water. I don't care who they believe. Pouring a little water just wants to make my crime real. Let me show you what real bullying is. Susanyu struggled desperately, with her limbs flailing like a tortoise. She has always been pampered. I have been practicing martial arts since childhood. How could she break free from my restraint? I pulled her up suddenly. Li Lingyue, you are crazy. Gurgle, she screamed. Before she could finish speaking, she was pressed into the water by me again. I laughed loudly to the sky. You are so good at pretending to be pitiful. Don't pretend. I will satisfy you. After repeating more than a dozen times, she fainted like a dead dog by the pool. Never mind what family affection or reputation is. I don't want any of them anymore. Susanyu is the descendant of a meritorious official. The enemy country launched an attack and massacred the city. All the Su family members guarding a city at the borderlands died on the battlefield. Only Susanyu survived. She changed her name and surname and escaped back from the borderlands through great hardships. The news reached the imperial court, and the emperor was furious. He sent his second legitimate son, the fifth prince, to lead the army to repel the enemy. In order to appease the young orphan daughter of the meritorious official, the empress wanted to raise her among the relatives. As the imperial elder princess, her mother personally brought the person back. The family members took good care of her and showed great concern. She was also like a considerate sister and got along harmoniously with me. But soon after her mother passed away due to illness, I actually died at the hands of my biological father and brother because of her slander. On the day of getting married, there were many guests at the Li family mansion. In the wishes of everyone, I was carried on the back of my biological brother to the hall wearing a phoenix coronet and red robe. But my brother, in front of my fiancé and everyone, announced aloud, "Today, the Li family cannot marry the Marquis Manor. The Li family respects General Su and does not want to be at odds with the Marquis Manor. Our sister Li Lingle was spoiled by us, relying on her status. She has been bullying the descendant of the famous General Susanyu. Although there are me and my father watching, after the death of our mother, the elder princess, the affairs in the backyard are firmly controlled by our sister. There will always be places that I and my father cannot see. I don't want to criticize my younger sister in this way. I really feel ashamed of Her Majesty the Empress entrustment. I didn't fulfill the important task of taking good care of the orphaned girl of the Su family. Our Li family hereby confesses in front of everyone. My brother seems to be a just messenger who destroys family affection. He speaks with certainty and touches people's hearts deeply. He sentences me to be a woman in the inner mansion who has no national righteousness and is vicious. Words that pierce the heart have pinned me firmly on the pillar of shame. I couldn't believe it and suddenly lifted the veil. The suspicious, teasing and disgusted eyes of everyone surrounded me. I was escorted to the backyard. The matter became serious and the wife of Marquis Manor rushed over. Susanyu cried in front of all the noble ladies. I have no way to repay the kindness of raising me by the Li family. I am already grateful to be able to be sisters with Ling Lu. Other things are all the rewards given to me by my sister. The wife of Marquis Manor immediately helped the person up and felt sorry for her difficulties over the years. She also praised her that under such oppression, she can still maintain the innocent heart of kindness. Immediately ordered someone to convey a message to her son. Such a cruel and unrighteous woman who bullies the weak is not worthy to be the main wife of my Marquis Manor. My father publicly severely reprimanded my brother and said that no matter how my sister is disciplined in private, how can she talk about things on such an occasion today? Brother was indignant and said, I don't want to be a person who blinds others. After repeated discipline, my sister knowingly committed the offense. As an elder brother, I am really afraid that my sister will bully others after marrying into the Marquis Manor. I can't let her ruin our friendship with the Marquis Manor. Father sighed helplessly and agreed to the withdrawal of the engagement from the Marquis Manor. Immediately after that, I was locked in the firewood room. After taking the poison, a surging and intense pain of passing through the intestines swept through my whole body. After using all my strength to stab Susanyu to death, I was kicked in the heart by my brother and never woke up again. Before this day, I was the daughter of the highly respected princess. After this day, I was a notorious and vicious person. When I came to my senses, unknowingly, I had already burst into tears. Looking at Susanyu fainting in a mess at my feet, that innocent and pure face became extremely ugly due to struggling and suffocating. I pulled up the corners of my mouth. Since you think I am high and mighty and think that you Susanyu are weak and pitiful, from today on, I will let you all see what is the power of the daughter of the elder princess. The grievances and despair of that day were like they happened yesterday. Thinking of the pain of being poisoned by my relatives, I wished I could kick Susanyu into the pool and drown her, but I can't let her die too easily. I giggled and stepped hard on her face a few times, then walked away with my head held high. Outside the yard, the personal maid Xianxia was waiting for me. Miss, the time of the Marquis Manor banquet is coming soon. Do you want to go with Miss Su now? How can she deserve to go out with me? I snorted with a smile. Xianxia. Usually, because Susanyu is the orphan brought back by my mother, I also have pity on her and take her out wherever I go. I will also prepare the best clothes and jewelry for her. I didn't expect that all my good intentions were fed to a white-eyed wolf. Also, go and withdraw the marriage in the Marquis Manor. Xianxia. Li Lingle, what are you talking nonsense? Brother Li Hongji came from the front and obviously heard what I said. After mother passed away, you have become more and more out of line. You should learn from Sister Xinyu. By the way, didn't Sister Xinyu come to talk to you? Why don't I see her again? In my previous life, he was like this, without asking the reason. He first belittled me and then said how gentle and kind Susanyu was. Every time Susanyu pretended to be pitiful, he would always make me apologize first and say that she is the daughter of a meritorious official and I shouldn't bully her by relying on my status. It seems that the brother is educating the sister, but in fact, he is solidifying my crime in front of the servants. Because he is my biological brother, I didn't think too much. I was wronged in my heart, but I still took a step back. Who would have thought that taking one step back would lead to taking one step back after another? Thinking of this, I said angrily, which brother constantly belittles his own sister and takes the side of outsiders all day long? The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. I rushed forward and slapped him with my hand. Li Hongji winced and covered his face with his hands, and his eyes became cold. Mother should not have let you learn martial arts. You are rude and unrefined. You have no respect for your elder brother. You. A useless person who is neither good at literature nor martial arts. What qualifications do you have to control me? When we were young, my brother was not like this. He would also bring me some snacks and trinkets when he came back from school, saying that he would protect me for a lifetime. But since I have been better than him in both martial arts and learning, he has become impatient with me. The children of the noble family laughed at him, and his mother became stricter with him. Sometimes I think, how excellent I am, but what do people value? It is still my elder brother who is a man, but my brother is not excellent enough. Why doesn't he work hard? Instead, he blames me for being too outstanding. Does he want me to hold him and show weakness in front of him? Susanyu is quite good. When Li Hongji was punished by his mother, Susanyu would accompany him with heartache and bring him medicine and cook porridge. When practicing martial arts, she would applaud and praise him for being powerful and a good man standing upright. She is the good sister he imagined. Moreover, Li Hongji often said to me that Susanyu is weak and has no one to rely on. I should take good care of her. Susanyu was just pretending to be pitiful, and he immediately determined that I had bullied others. He wanted to teach me a lesson by relying on his elder brother's identity, but due to the existence of his mother, He could only say a few words with a hidden meaning verbally. Everything, in fact, had traces to follow long ago. Thinking of this, I suddenly realized, most men in this world are like this. In their eyes, women can be gentle, weak, and pampered, only they cannot be strong and more capable than them. Otherwise, they will suppress and belittle her. But why is father also like this to his daughter? Throwing the furious Li Hongji behind, Jin Xiao asked me carefully if something had happened. My current transformation cannot escape the eyes of those around me. Her asking like this is not strange. Before, I still had sibling feelings for Li Hongji. When others laughed at him, I would go to teach them a lesson and make them have nowhere to complain. When he was injured, I would also secretly prepare medicine for him. That stupid woman Su Xinyu doesn't know what kind of life she is living in the borderlands. She doesn't even know how to prepare medicine. Isn't it because I asked her to send it over? When my mother punished him, I would also feel sad for him and speak good words for him. Your elder brother is more capable than many people. If you force him like this, it will have the opposite effect. Little girl, you understand your elder brother's temperament so well at a young age, but a man should cultivate excellent skills. As a woman, you are bound by more. Mother loves him. I also love my elder brother, but the elder brother in my memory has long disappeared. Now I am alone. After my mother's death, I have no relatives anymore. My father stopped my divorce. Su Xinyu also did not appear in front of me. I know that she is not afraid of me, but is lurking and recovering from her injuries. Her most proud thing is that innocent and pure appearance. With the help of her orphan status, who wouldn't call her pitiful when they see her? Am not in a hurry. Let her plan for the time being. Soon, it was my comingafage banquet. Even though my mother died unexpectedly, she had already arranged the comingafage ceremony for me. The empress presented hairpins and sent a female official to preside over it. The noble ladies who got along with each other took a look and knew that even if the elder princess passed away, I was still valued in the palace. After the comingafage ceremony ended, my father sat upright and called me in a cold and indifferent tone. Ling Lu, come here. I smiled slightly and walked over. What's the matter, father? Are you going to give me a comingafage gift? My father looked at me coldly for a moment and said, abusing the descendants of meritorious officials and beating your elder brother. Li Ling Lu, where have your noble qualities and family education gone? Such despicable behavior of yours will only bring shame to your mother. Today you have grown up too. I will reprimand you in front of the female official. Do you accept it? His volume changed from calm to uncontrollably increasing. I looked at the two people behind him. Su Xinyu had tears in her eyes, hesitating to speak. It seemed that she wanted to intercede for me but didn't dare to open her mouth. Li Hongji stood beside her and comforted her in a low voice. When his eyes glanced at me, there was disgust and indifference. For a moment, the lively and festive scene suddenly became silent. I tilted my head and said innocently, Father, do you have some misunderstandings? My daughter always remembers my mother's teachings and treats Su Xinyu like a sister. Everyone can see it. Aren't her clothes and jewelry the best in the capital city? As for beating my elder brother, it is a complete nonsense. Who doesn't know that I often practice with my brother? If my brother's martial arts are not as good as mine, did he complain to you? As soon as the words fell, someone laughed out loud. A big man actually complained that his just-reached 15-year-old sister beat him. Li Hongxi's face turned red. Father scolded. Li Lingle, as a woman, you should be gentle and virtuous, and have both knowledge and etiquette, instead of making mistakes and refusing to admit them, to avoid you making bigger mistakes in the future. Today your father will teach you a good lesson. Saying this, he picked up the ruler from the table, stood up and stared at me sternly. Get down on your knees. Seeing that father was going to beat me in front of everyone, countless guests whispered to each other. I didn't expect Miss Li, who has an extremely good reputation, to be such a person behind the scenes. I heard that the elder princess was extremely favored during her lifetime. It's not difficult to see from this lofty temperament that she can't tolerate others. How can the Li family be so out of line, disciplining their daughter in public? How will she get along in the future? It is estimated that due to the power and influence of the elder princess, they had to do this. Besides, Miss Li had already set the eldest son of the Marquis Manor as her fiancé. As they spoke, everyone turned their eyes to the wife of the Marquis Manor. The wife of the Marquis Manor's face looked a little ugly. I straightened my back and said loudly, although it is natural for fathers to discipline their children, to put such a crime on my head, I am not convinced. Father keeps saying that I have shamed my mother. May I ask where I have done wrong? If it is a friendly competition with my brother and I win, it is considered beating my brother, then I admit it. After all, these things were witnessed by my mother before she passed away. Li Hongji was so angry that his chest heaved. Today's scene. I'm afraid that his reputation is even worse than that of a woman. But if you say that I have abused Sister Su, where is the evidence? The Dalai Temple has to find witnesses and evidence to try prisoners when making judgments. Father is now trying his daughter in public. Can he convict me with empty words? As I said this, I took out a handkerchief and wiped the corners of my eyes. Who doesn't know how to pretend to be pitiful? Speaking insincerely, if my daughter acts righteously and betrays her own kin, and claims that her father is corrupt and accepts bribes, how should the father defend himself? As soon as these words came out, the expressions in everyone's eyes looking at the father changed. Even the biological daughter said so. Could it be true? The father became furious. Disobedient daughter. He raised the ruler in his hand and struck me. I dodged sideways, and he staggered and almost lost his balance. Dariaudage. My daughter is not wrong. Why should she be punished? Before my mother passed away, everyone praised my good upbringing. After my mother's death, it is the father who says my daughter is not good. Is the father expressing dissatisfaction with the mother's teachings? The father's complexion changed, and he ignored scolding me. Instinctively, he looked at the female official. Expressing dissatisfaction with the elder prince's teachings is questioning the imperial upbringing. The female official had no expression and could not tell whether she was happy or angry. Su Xinyu came out crying. It's all my fault. That day, my sister pushed me to the pool to play and got my hair wet. I was overreacting. But sister, you should apologize to the father quickly. Disobeying elders is wrong. She sobbed and cried like pear blossoms with rain. Half of the words were hidden. Sure enough, Li Hongji couldn't bear it anymore and said to me, Li Lingle, every time it is Xinyu who comes out to admit mistakes for you. Do you have a little bit of the appearance of an older sister? In the previous life, it was always like this. As long as Su Xinyu cried a few times, they would think that she must have been wronged, and I was the one who was to blame. I opened my eyes wide and said in shock, now, is it true that whoever shouts louder is in the right? Brother, you can give up martial arts and become an opera singer. Some people present shook their heads secretly while looking at Li Hongji. The two big men in the Li family publicly taught their only daughter and sister, which really lost their grace. In the previous life, things happened too suddenly and were too unexpected, so I was controlled immediately. It is estimated that the people left by my mother couldn't have imagined that their biological father and brother poisoned me that night. Thinking of this, I said to the female official, Auntie, I invite the people of Her Majesty the Empress to visit Su's sister every month. I didn't let my father and brother worry about this. I don't know how it is that they misunderstood that I was harsh to the descendants of meritorious officials. I say, father and brother suddenly opened their eyes wide. Su Xinyu's face turned pale and her body was swaying. This time it is not pretended. Whether I have abused her, she doesn't know. The person who slandered you will always know how innocent you are. Father asked me in a dry voice. The people sent by Her Majesty the Empress came down. For such a big thing, why didn't you tell your father? I smiled sweetly. Mother didn't allow it. Mother said that father is not good at dealing with mundane matters and doesn't need to worry about the affairs in the backyard. My mother is the most beloved elder princess of the late emperor. Love to what extent? Fear that when he dies, the next emperor will treat her badly, and leave a force to her. Now, this force is in my hands. His father is the top scholar personally selected by his mother. His parents died, and he relied on his elder brother and sister-in-law to support him all the way through the imperial examinations. Before the late emperor bestowed marriage, his mother asked him if he was willing to become a prince consort. Becoming a prince consort, his official career can be seen to the end. Because of the force in her hand, the imperial brother will not let the prince consort go too high. If he does not become a prince consort, he may stay in the capital city and serve as a small official or be sent abroad. In the future, there may be a chance to move up, but he has no power, no influence, no money, and he is not good at handling relationships. He may not be able to reach the high official position even when he is old. His father is willing to become a prince consort. After getting married, he treats his mother with respect but is a little frustrated. I respect and love my father but am not close enough. He is dissatisfied that his mother makes me read books and practice martial arts. He thinks that I am familiar with the women's precepts and can just be a noble lady in the boudoir. I took the books I didn't understand to find him. He said, women don't need to read these. This is what your brother reads. I retorted, but my brother has read books for a few years earlier than me. He still doesn't understand. Father, tell me, I will definitely understand. He immediately took out the ruler and beat my palm, saying that I contradicted my elders. His mother had a big fight with him and forbade him to meddle in my education anymore. Mother often taught my brother and me that if siblings work together with one heart, they can enjoy the power and wealth of the imperial clan in peace. But father pulled my brother and asked him to make friends with the children of noble families and take an early position among the imperial sons. Mother said, "Your father is greedy for enjoyment but also has lofty aspirations. He even makes your brother not willing to work hard. He just stares at the little power in my hand and hopes to get the credit of following the dragon." She sighed. My imperial brother has never made a move against me, but his eyes have been staring at me. Otherwise, why did the Empress put Susanyu in our family? Isn't it just an excuse to send people? I think these words that mother never said to father and brother. Even if she said them, they would still go their own way and take an early position among the imperial sons. I thought that father was biased towards boys, with old-fashioned ideas and unable to bear that women deviated from the norm. Until mother brought back Susanyu, I found that it is not the case. He would kindly let Susanyu stay in the Li residence as if it were her own home. I have witnessed that he was in the courtyard, holding a book, and patiently and kindly told Susanyu with a smile, "Reading makes one wise. It is not easy for women. They should learn principles from books better." Hee. It turns out that he knows that it is not easy for women to survive in this world. He knows that as long as people read books, they can become wise. I long for my father's recognition and hope that my brother will protect me like I protect him. I am confused why my father doesn't like me but is meticulous and patient with Susanyu. Don't understand why brother is better to an outsider than to his own sister. Living another life. I abandoned these delusions. Just as mother said, relatives are sometimes unreliable, only self-improvement. The female official said in a serious manner that Empress really sent someone to visit Susanyu every month. Everyone praised Her Majesty the Empress for her motherly grace and caring for the descendants of meritorious officials. The female official asked Susanyu again. Miss Li complied with the arrangements made by Elder Princess before her death. Is Miss Su not feeling comfortable staying at Miss Li's residence now? Susanyu's forehead broke out in big cold sweat. She didn't dare to pretend to be pitiful anymore and kept denying it. Not feeling comfortable means being dissatisfied with the arrangements of Elder Princess and Empress. The favor and anger of the superior are all the grace of the monarch. This farce ended after the female official left. Everyone looked at her with sarcastic eyes, tentatively probing Susanyu. She had no face to stay any longer. She held the hand of the maid and hurriedly returned to her own courtyard. After seeing off the guests, father's face was livid. Good. You have grown wings and become hard. You are no longer under your father's discipline. I said coldly, in matters of my discipline, mother has never let father worry. I really want to ask father why he hates me so much and insists on ruining my reputation in public. People who don't know might think that the daughter is the one adopted. Father's face stiffened and said that I was wild and didn't take him. This father. Seriously. Then he turned around and left with a wave of his sleeve. Li Hongji said that after getting married, don't expect him and father to support me. I gave him a white look and said, "Idiot. In my previous life, it was because I had delusions about them that they had an opportunity to take advantage. Besides, the Li family never had any power or influence. It relied on the identity of my mother, the elder princess. After this incident, I withdrew many of Susanyu's treatment. I used to feel sorry for her, and her treatment was based on mine. Now, as a lonely girl living under someone else's roof and still trying to trample on me, it's not my fault for being polite." Her monthly silver was according to the share of the Li family's concubine daughter, and she no longer had any money to buy jewelry or save for a dowry, and I often found reasons to take back the luxurious clothes and jewelry that were originally prepared for her. The maids carried out boxes and boxes from her yard and also put a few mice in her room by the way. In the middle of the night, she was so scared that she screamed continuously, and her little face became much darker when she ate a cockroach while eating. After scolding and beating the cook, I closed her small kitchen in the yard. I grinned and said, "Don't you say that I abuse you. Go and complain. Go." Susanyu's eyes turned red with anger, and her eyes looking at me seemed to be poisoned. In the end, she still lowered her head and cried and admitted her mistake to me. "Sister, I'm sorry. If my younger sister has offended you in any way, I apologize to you. You have offended a lot." I tilted my head and looked at her. "But what are you going to apologize to me with? Which one of you is not from my family?" Susanyu was so humiliated that she was at a loss. She still went to her father and Li Hongji to complain with tears in her eyes. Father questioned me. "You still say you didn't abuse her? Aren't you afraid that Her Majesty the Empress will blame you?" Looking at my father's angry look towards Susanyu, I couldn't help but want to laugh and even laughed out loud. He slapped the table angrily. Wretch. I'm talking to you. I casually fiddled with the bracelet in my hand. She has food and clothing and lives a life of a young lady from a prominent family. It's much better than when she was in the borderlands. How could I have abused her, father? Now the entirely family is supported by mother's inheritance. If you think it's not enough, you can supplement her with your small salary. Oh, your salary is probably not enough for her to buy a hairpin. Sister Sue probably doesn't look down on it either. Susanyu looked at her father in astonishment. I guess she thought the Lee family was supported by her father. Ha ha ha. Father noticed her eyes and his face became even more livid. I don't look down on it. Father raising me is already a great kindness. Susinyu's eyes became red. Do you really want your father to support you? He has never brought back any money. I asked with a smiling face. Father is standing by the imperial prince. Even if he amasses wealth, he will only use it on power. However, maybe he will really subsidize Susinyu. Susinyu shed tears. Sister. Don't call me sister. I can't afford it. Li Lingle, don't go too far. With a slap. A loud slap landed on my face. I staggered a step, endured the dizziness, and turned to see Li Hongji. He held his head high and said coldly, disobedient and unfilial, bullying an orphaned girl. What face do you have to live in this world? If a girl from another family did this, she would have been drowned in a pig cage long ago. Father's face was expressionless and he did not refute Li Hongji's words. A happy and complacent expression appeared on Susinyu's face. I spat out a mouthful of blood. My teeth were broken. The pain in my mouth made the long-suppressed madness emerge again. I rushed up like a madman and kicked Li Hongji. He was beaten back by my desperate posture and was finally kicked to the ground by me. I kicked him in the heart one after another to vent the old and new hatred in my heart. Father shouted for the guards to come and arrest and tie me up, but I had arranged in advance that the maid who knew martial arts would stop them. Susinyu was so scared that her face turned pale and she hid far away. Li Hongji lay on the ground, covering his chest and wailing in pain. I let go of him and laughed wantonly. I can't live. You hypocritical and unscrupulous villains can live. Why can't I? Why should I compare myself with other women? My mother loves me and gives me power. I will live more freely and wantonly than anyone else. Are you going to say that I beat you again? Go ahead and shout it on the street for everyone to know. I increased my volume. This is really going against the heavens. Crazy. Father's eyes were full of disgust. After this incident, none of the three appeared in front of me again. I was in a very good mood. Jean Xiao was worried. Miss, if you treat the master and young master like this, will they go outside and ruin your reputation? I didn't care at all. Reputation. Can that thing be eaten? The master and young master are really bewitched by the enchantress. They can't see the good of the miss. The miss has never beaten the servants since childhood. The rent of the fields in the manor is 30 less than others. How many county nurseries and public welfare institutions around the capital city are sponsored by the miss? Otherwise, how could Susinyu be rescued and appear smoothly in front of Her Majesty the Empress? Miss, you even donated food and money to the borderland soldiers. She's better. Instead, she wants to step on your head. Jean Xiao was indignant. Heh, wealth and status are bewitching. No matter how much power, wealth and money they have, they will never be satisfied. Not to mention looking down at the people at the bottom. Perhaps they will even think that I am wasting silver. I tugged at the corners of my mouth with no smile in my eyes. It will be the Empress' birthday banquet in a month. In my previous life, the gift I prepared disappeared without a trace, but what Susinyu presented was the carefully prepared gift by me. At that time, I wanted to tear off Susinyu's hypocritical face on the spot, but was stopped by the wife of the Marquis Manor. She said, "Isn't it just a gift? Making a big fuss and losing face is not just your business. You and my son are about to get married. Don't make a fuss." At that time, I didn't know that the reputation of my abusing the daughter of a meritorious official had already spread throughout the circle of noble women in the capital city. The wife of the Marquis Manor was dissatisfied with me. Due to observing mourning, I was not well informed about the outside news. I followed her words and settled accounts after returning home. Li Hongji stopped me and said that he lost Susinyu's gift and casually took one in my yard. He didn't know that this was the gift I prepared. He was righteous and said, "Isn't it just an object? You have so many things usually. Sinyu has nothing. What's the harm in letting her?" Susinyu only knew how to cry and said that she asked her brother for help but didn't expect it to be like this. Father said in a flat tone, "Your brother didn't mean it. Sinyu didn't know about this. Lingle, don't be too entangled. Family harmony and brother-sister friendship are the right way." At that time, I still had feelings for my so-called relatives and swallowed this breath. The empress became cold to me because of this, without my mother entering the palace to maintain relationships, and I was constantly busy managing the back house of the Li family. Gradually, the people sent by the empress were no longer enthusiastic towards me, and Su Xingyu thus caught the eye of the empress and received the imperial edict of marriage and became the concubine of the second prince. The second prince is the prince that father and brother wanted to support to ascend the throne. Now looking back, I was stupid at that time. If you take yourself too seriously, you will lose everything. On the day of the empress' birthday banquet, before I went out, I ran into Su Xingyu. She was wearing luxurious and noble clothes, and there was the most expensive hairpin in the treasure pavilion on her bun. I knew that it must be her who cried to Li Hongji that she had no jewelry or dresses to attend the banquet and was afraid of losing face. Li Hongji bought them for her to save face. Having been in the borderlands all year round, Su Xingyu didn't understand that in Shangjing, noble women almost didn't buy jewelry outside. Often the jewelry placed outside for sale is the cheapest among noble women. Li Lingle, do you think you can always rely on your status to bully me? I am clearly 2 years older than you, but I have to call you sister. I was also the most distinguished daughter in the family. Here, I have to look at your face everywhere. I am really fed up. So what if it is the daughter of the elder princess? As soon as the elder princess leaves, your father and brother will all be partial to me. They will pave all the roads for me, and you are just a notorious and vicious woman. She was complacent, stroking the gifts held by the maids beside her. Her whole person was excited and her face was distorted. It seems that after today, she can climb up to a higher branch and suppress me from then on. When losing power, be humble. When gaining power, be complacent. Such a fool. I am too lazy to argue with her and just replied to her with one sentence. Oh, wish you success. Behind her, she screamed. You wait and see. I got on the carriage and swayed all the way into the palace. The empress took my hand and asked me kindly how I had been recently. There is no sign at all that in fact she knows everything about me and the Li family clearly. The birthday banquet proceeded as scheduled. There was a small problem during the gift presentation session. The gift box presented by Su Xingyu was actually empty. Everyone looked at each other in dismay. For a while, the cunning palace was extremely quiet. Second prince teased, Miss Su, is there anything special about this box? At the moment of seeing the empty box, Su Xingyu had already been so panicked that she didn't know where to turn. After hearing the words of second prince, she even cried out. She was trembling and on the verge of fainting. It seemed that she was about to collapse. At this time, her father and elder brother were not here. She actually cast her pleading eyes on me. I was almost angry and laughed. Stolen my things. Now you still want me to save you. I ignored the gazes of other people completely and put down the teacup. Oh, could it be that Miss Su doesn't have the money to prepare a gift? But your elder brother just gave you money, and you just bought the treasured item of Treasure Pavilion. The ladies with titles had sharp eyes and recognized the golden hairpin on her head at a glance. Su Xingyu stammered and sobbed. I prepared it. I don't know how it disappeared. Your Majesty the Empress, please forgive me. In the end, Empress received the empty box kindly and said that the gift lies in the intention, not in its value. You naughty girl Ling Lu, you are always good at teasing. Quickly tell me what gift you prepared for me. Empress said jokingly. The attitude towards Su Xingyu was completely different just now. Everyone present is a smart person. They followed the words of Empress and had a harmonious atmosphere. Su Xingyu's face was as white as paper and her expression was in a daze. I ignored her again and asked someone to present the gift. Inside the box were some account books and letters. I explained. Her Majesty the Empress is the model of women all over the world. My mother often taught me to learn from you. I have also received a lot of rewards and teachings from you since childhood. There is nothing to repay. Only by using the name of building a baby nursery and a public welfare hospital can people all over the world know the benevolence and wisdom of His Majesty and Your Majesty. I funded the construction of the baby nursery and the public welfare hospital in the name of praying for the Empress. The baby nursery and the public welfare hospital were not dared to be bullied. A lot of abandoned babies and sick and weak old people were received smoothly. Having done good deeds, one should let the superior know. Sure enough, the Empress was moved and treated me more sincerely. Who wouldn't like a good reputation? After the banquet ended, I went back. Su Xingyu was crying and sobbing as if the sky had fallen. When my father learned about this, his face suddenly changed and he blamed me. In such an important occasion, why didn't you help Xingyu well? We rise and fall together. Now that Xingyu has lost her etiquette in front of the palace, her marriage is difficult. How will you behave when you go to your husband's family? What a double-standard statement. At this time, you think about how I should behave. I was puzzled. Father knows how important reputation is for women. Why did you ruin my reputation in public? Besides, what kind of sister is she to me? Oh, if she is my father's illegitimate daughter, she can be regarded as my half-sister. My father shouted in disbelief. What are you talking nonsense? I sneered and turned around to leave, but I bumped into Li Hongji, who just came back. He was furious and said, "You vicious and selfish woman, how dare you play such a trick and frame Xianyu? Brother, what are you doing? Be careful not to hold your breath and die." He was so angry that he wanted to use the same old trick and swing at my face again. I remained motionless. The maid beside me raised her leg and kicked him away. The flowers, plants and trees in the courtyard were suddenly flattened, and in the mess, Li Hongji got up staggering. "Li Lingle, I will never forgive you in my life. You have ruined my and my father's big plan and made Xianyu lose face. I clearly saw you get that gift with a lot of money." "Ha," I laughed. "You knew I spent a lot of money preparing a gift. But you stole it to add luster to Su Xianyu so that she could successfully climb onto the second prince. Didn't you think about what would happen to me?" He raised his voice. "So what? Xianyu has nothing. You have status, a marriage contract, and so much property left by your mother. Even if you lose your etiquette in front of the hall, so what?" I restrained my smile and had a gloomy face, had him held down and went forward to slap him several times. He gritted his teeth and said, "Mother is partial and left people to you." I sneered. "How is father not partial to you either? Heaven is always fair." He stared at me with a bone-chilling hatred in his eyes. I also stared at him. Now, we both wish we could eat each other's flesh. His Majesty the Emperor heard about my tribute. The next day, the imperial edict of reward came down, praising me for being wise and virtuous, with both inner and outer beauty, and bestowing countless jewels. I smiled. Isn't this all praise compared to what my father said to ruin my reputation that day? With an imperial edict, no one dared to mention anything about my upbringing again. Even my father could only lower his head deeply and receive the edict. He no longer dared to scold me in front of me. For a while, I was in the limelight. The wife of Marquis Manor, who had not been in touch for a long time, held a flower appreciation party and sent me an invitation to drink tea and enjoy flowers. I was too lazy to pay attention, but due to the unbroken engagement, I could only deal with it. When I arrived at Marquis Manor, I found Li Hongji and Su Xinyu there as well. I turned my head and pretended not to see. A maid brought tea and snacks. I picked up the teacup and was about to drink it. In my peripheral vision, I saw Li Hongji next door staring at me intently. I put down the teacup and had someone hold the maid and pour the tea down her throat. The wife of Marquis Manor was shocked and angry and scolded me. "Li Lingyue, you are being wild. Before entering the door of my Marquis Manor, you dare to be so arrogant and oppress the people of my Marquis Manor." I sneered. Without even knowing what happened, they were so sure that I was oppressing others. It seems that the sudden change at the wedding in my previous life was not without reason. The maid was digging at her throat in horror. Within less than 2 minutes, she became confused and began to pull at her clothes, revealing her ugly appearance. Seeing this, everyone was shocked. Those with ulterior motives could tell at a glance that the tea was deliberately brought to me by the maid. I asked coolly, "So the Marquis Manor doesn't like me so much? They even want to use underhanded means to ruin my reputation?" The wife of the Marquis Manor had a livid face and retorted, "I didn't. I will thoroughly investigate this matter." Before finishing speaking, a commotion came from the adjacent courtyard. The maid hurried over and whispered a few words in her ear. Her face changed instantly. When I returned to the mansion, Jin Xiu also got the news. It turned out to be Su Xinyu and Lin Baokai. The next day, my father couldn't wait to go to the Marquis Manor to break off the engagement and wanted Su Xinyu to marry Lin Baokai. I curled the corners of my mouth, but there was no smile in my eyes. What a good father and a good elder brother. Unable to climb onto the second prince, they took my fiancé from me and gave it to Su Xinyu. Right. The Marquis Manor did not agree to break off the engagement and was only willing to let Lin Baokai take Su Xinyu as a concubine. The matter was not hidden for long, and the scandals of the two were spread far and wide. I went to the palace once, and the Marquis Manor obediently broke off the engagement. However, it still did not agree to let Su Xinyu enter the house. She could only be a concubine if she entered. The wife of the Marquis Manor saw that Su Xinyu offended the empress at the birthday banquet and was at odds with me. No one was there to support her. Little did they know that my father and Li Hongji didn't know what was going on. They regarded Su Xinyu like a jewel and held her in their hands. They used the public opinion and strategies that were used on me on the Marquis Manor. The legitimate son of the Marquis Manor, Lin Baokai, insulted the descendants of meritorious officials and bullied Su Xinyu, an orphan with no one to rely on. He only married her as a concubine. The Marquis Manor was placed on the fire rack and roasted. It couldn't hold on for half a month and then agreed to let Su Xingyu enter the house as the wife, without the annoying marriage contract. I enjoyed the cool breeze in the gazebo with ease. Su Xingyu changed her sluggish posture and ran to me with a sly smile to show off. "Oh my, sister, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to snatch your fiancé. It was Brother Baokai who fell in love with me at first sight, but love matters can't be forced. Brother Baokai only has a sibling relationship with you. Even if you get together, you can't grow old together," I sneered. It is estimated that my father and Li Hongji did not tell her about the situation outside, which made her so self-righteous. Seeing that I didn't say anything, she was beaming and wanted to say something else. I glanced at the maid beside me, a strong and healthy maid, with a blank expression, picked up Su Xingyu and pushed her into the pool by the gazebo. Gurgle. "Ah, Li Lingle, you will die a bad death." Vomit. I shook my head. "After getting a little trash, you come to provoke me. It's just being sentimental." Su Xingyu had a fever that night and almost damaged her brain. Father was furious. "Li Lingle, don't forget, your mother is not here. Your marriage will be decided by me." I frowned. On the day Su Xingyu got married, it was extremely shabby. I won't allow my mother's property to fall into Su Xingyu's hands. Father and Li Hongji emptied their family's property to support the second prince and didn't have much money left. I heard that as soon as she entered the door, she was humiliated by the wife of Marquis Manor and lived a very difficult life. Li Hongji sneered at me and said that father was about to choose a husband for me. Back then, mother didn't want to help me and father. She made your marriage early and even handed over the power in her hands to you. Now it's still up to father to arrange. I sneered. Mother is right. Otherwise, the family property would have been scattered by you all. I parted ways with Li Hongji unhappily again, just when father was about to decide my marriage. His people brought a message. The midwife of elder princess was found. The person I arranged by my father's side said that originally, he had always suspected that I was not his daughter. His Majesty the Emperor had always wanted to take back the power in the hands of the elder princess. He deliberately created an accident, making the elder princess give birth outside. He also arranged a pregnant woman nearby. When the elder princess was relaxed, he exchanged the child. The replaced child was sent to the borderlands. He thought that I was a fake daughter, and Su Xingyu is the real daughter who was sent away. He thought that the elder princess knew everything, but just because of His Majesty, she didn't say anything. When seeing Su Xingyu, he took the real daughter back actively. Unfortunately, it was just his thought. I laughed loudly until tears came out. "So, you treated me so harshly just because of these suspicions for so many years?" I asked my father with a smile. My father was stunned and his expression kept changing, but I continued to say, "Unfortunately, my mother was prepared in advance and didn't give His Majesty the chance to exchange the child. The child who was sent away still returned to her own mother's side, and the real daughter Su Xingyu you think is indeed the daughter of the Su family." Father, taking in someone else's child actively and abusing your own child, how does it feel? Ha ha ha. I forgot that you only care about your power. Does it matter whether the child is real or fake in your eyes? In the end, my voice was almost inaudible, but my father was panicked. His voice was hoarse. For the father, "It's all for the future of you and your elder brother." Bullshit. I interrupted. "You only care about yourself. So what if you know the truth? Could all the behaviors in past lives and this life be false?" I will never forget the day when he ordered someone to poison me. He asked me, "Ling Lu, can you forgive your father?" I looked up at the sky and replied affirmatively, "No." After a long time, a low whimper came from behind. Outside a theater, Li Hongji looked at me, hesitating to speak. "Ling Lu, I'm sorry. I thought you were not the child of mother and father. Mother left almost everything to you, so I resented you and made things difficult for you everywhere. I don't dare to expect your forgiveness, but for all the past, I will make up for it with the rest of my life." His words were sincere and his expression was gentle and serious. It seemed to have returned to the appearance of my elder brother when I was a child. I have already seen through this person. I used to think I was a fake sister. When the truth came to light, the things in my hand would eventually return to him, but it is impossible now. I am the real sister. He can only coax me to give it to him. "But, is it possible?" I said faintly. "Then it depends on your performance." Su Xingyu was tortured by the wife of Marquis Manor in great pain. When in the Li Manor, she was the daughter and sister who was doted on by her father and Li Hongji. After getting married, she was a woman who was oppressed and slandered. She thought that as long as she complained as usual, her father and Li Hongji would stand up for her and give her face in her husband's family. On this day, She came back crying, "Father, the wife of the Marquis Manor, she makes me kneel all day long. If I make a little mistake, she won't let me eat. My daughter has been bullied by her so hard." Susinyu poured out her grievances without noticing me beside her. Father scolded. "All right. It's just that the mother-in-law is setting rules for you. What are you crying about? As a qualified daughter-in-law, you should be virtuous and gentle, serving your parents-in-law. After this, don't come back unless there is something important. The Lee Manor has raised you for 3 years and sent you out after getting you married. They have done their best." Susinyu widened her eyes, full of disbelief. "Father, she only saw me and her eyes were full of venom. Did Li Lingle say something? She has been abusing me all the time. Don't you remember? I am your daughter, father." Father took a sip of tea and said, "I recognized you as my adopted daughter only because of the entrustment of Her Majesty the Empress." She opened her mouth and seemed to understand something. She left crying. I refused to have dinner with him and followed closely behind. When approaching my courtyard, I saw Li Hongji holding a gift box in his hand. In front of him stood Susinyu with tears in her eyes. Susinyu was chattering about something, probably complaining and reporting again. But Li Hongji didn't have his usual gentle attitude. Instead, he looked impatient. The lowering head Susinyu didn't notice. Li Hongji turned his head and saw me. He immediately left her and walked quickly to me. "Lingle, this is the precious jewelry that my brother found for you. I guarantee that no one in the capital city has the same as yours." I smiled half-heartedly and said, "Isn't your good sister standing over there?" Li Hongji said carelessly, "You and I are biological siblings. Susinyu is just a foster sister that the Empress pitted and asked our family to take care of. Now that she got married, our family has also unloaded the heavy responsibility." Susinyu cried out sadly, "Brother." Seeing that Li Hongji still asked her to go back to the Marquis Manor quickly and not come to the Li family anymore, she finally couldn't bear it anymore. She covered her mouth and left in a daze. She still returned to the Marquis Manor. She no longer dared to contradict the wife of the Marquis Manor. She was submissive and ingratiated with the people in the mansion, just like her attitude when she was in the Li family at the beginning. The war at the borderlands lasted for 3 years and was finally won. 2 cities of the enemy country were also annexed. The 5th prince returned from the expedition with triumph. The common people welcomed him on both sides of the road. The emperor led the officials and personally went to receive them. When the 5th prince saw His Majesty the Emperor at that moment, he knelt down and wept bitterly. "Your Majesty, this battle was so hard for your son." It was learned from the mouth of the 5th prince that he was assassinated as soon as he went to the borderlands. At first, he thought it was a spy sent by the enemy and guarded against it tightly. Later, the food and supplies sent from the court were often insufficient. Only then did he know that there were people in the court who wanted this battle to continue indefinitely. If it weren't for Li Lingle's secret donation of food and supplies, your son and the soldiers would have been exhausted long ago and counterattacked by the enemy. The 5th prince wept with sobs. He said that after repelling the enemy, he secretly investigated and only then knew that it was the Su family who secretly contacted the enemy country and exchanged goods for unjust gains. This is how the enemy country took advantage of the loophole and attacked the borderlands. The Su family died because of this, but they were reported by people who didn't know the truth. They died in battle to kill the enemy. The people in a city died because of the greed of the Su family. Speaking of this, the 5th prince burst into tears. The emperor's face was ashen and he quickly issued 3 imperial edicts. One was to put Susinyu into prison and wait for judgment. One was to clarify the matter of the enemy's attack on the borderlands. One was to interrogate the enemy prisoners overnight, under the wrath of thunder. In less than a month, the case that had been sealed for 3 years was placed in front of the emperor. Originally, the Su family had already taken the stance of the 2nd prince. Taking risks and cooperating with the enemy country to seek huge profits was to make money for the 2nd prince. Among them, more precious treasures flowed into the empress' pocket. His Majesty locked himself up for a whole day. When coming out, he sentenced the 2nd prince to life imprisonment and the empress to life imprisonment in the cold palace. The 5th prince knelt in front of the Yangxin Hall again and asked for forgiveness from his mother and elder brother. He is the 2nd legitimate son of the empress. As a minister, he should expose the truth. As a son, he should ask for forgiveness for it. His Majesty sighed at his sincere heart and was supported by military achievements. Not long after, he was made the crown prince, and the cronies of the 2nd prince, those who were dismissed, those who were demoted, and those who were imprisoned were imprisoned. My father and elder brother are also among those who were imprisoned. What I said that day about him, it is not a lie, and I, because of my merit in donating grain, was granted the position of county lord by His Majesty. On the city tower, I stood together with the fifth prince. Mother does not want to see me, he sighed, but there was no sad expression on his face. We are all sons. How can we want to kill me for the sake of my elder brother? I said. What's the big deal? My father and elder brother also killed me. That's right. I also took the stance of a prince. At first, I just donated food and supplies and did not think about anything else. Can be poisoned by my father and elder brother. After waking up again, I understand that no one can be relied on. Only self-improvement is reliable. Later, through the subordinates transporting grain and grass, I learned some situations in the borderlands. Then I took the initiative to get in touch with the fifth prince. He is in a critical situation of being assassinated by relatives and fighting against the enemy. My defection is no less than the falling of sweet dew. The second prince only knows how to amass wealth and fight within the capital city. He will not pay attention to the lives of the common people. Just like my father and elder brother, they can only see power. You can rest assured that I will not kill the donkey after using it. I will not secretly seize the power left by your mother like the imperial father. The fifth prince guaranteed. I sneered. It's just a few capable maids. There has never been any power. That was what the previous emperor deceived the emperor with. The fifth prince widened his eyes. After a long time, he muttered to himself. I really envy you. Your mother received such love from the imperial grandfather. You also have a mother planning for you, while I can only rely on myself. I remain excellent. Parents love their children and plan for them in the long run. In this life, having such a mother, I am already satisfied.